Yeah, well, see, Dante is very interesting about this. So in Dante's hell, the root problem that people have is not actually the sins they've committed, but is that they can't focus on the present. They're either obsessed with what happened to them in life in the past, or they're terrified of about what's going to happen to them in the future. And that actually traps them in the present. And there's a hugely profound truth there, that if you can't, as it were, take the next step that's right in front of you, you can't take any steps at all. And so the hellish state, in a way, the most profound sense in Dante, is the people that are either stuck in the past or obsessed with the future, and they can't change. Whereas people in purgatory know that they've got to take sort of responsibility for their sins. And that actually is the beginning of their healing, because then they can take the next step that gradually will release them from what's otherwise trapping them. So again, there's a kind of...
That's really interesting.
Yeah, hell is not... Ultimately, hell in Dante is not where God has sent them. God actually hardly appears in the Divine Comedy. It's not till right at the end that you have a sort of mystical vision of God. What it becomes clear, what's revealed to Dante, is that people, as it were, are in their... Nowadays, you say people are in their own hells, and they don't know that they can't find a way out. That's really what he discovers when he goes to hell.
Very, very interesting. So, I mean, the equivalent maybe in psychotherapy would be depression, where people are... Is that more about being trapped in the past? And anxiety would be by being afraid of the future. I mean... Would those be the kind of psychological states? Yeah,
certainly. I mean, one of the huge breakthroughs that comes in therapy is when people can realise that, as it were, they can take a little step now, and it's not going to solve their problems immediately, which is to be too fixated on the future, but they're also not just condemned to repeat the past, which is, Freud calls it the repetitive compulsion. That's not quite the right expression, but something like that. The idea that you're trapped with just repeating things. You begin to realise that there is a present, and you can occupy the present just enough to be able to start to make a difference. Yeah.
So, there's a way out of hell, even for those who feel trapped in it.
Yeah. I suppose hell, strictly speaking, is the zone that you're in when you feel there isn't a way out.
Oh, yeah.
When you start to feel that there is a way out, you've moved into purgatory. And then you're on your way to paradise.
Well, maybe that's the sin against the Holy Spirit, because the sin against the Holy Spirit is to deny that there is a Holy Spirit.
Thank you for that. I've just taken a little step in the right direction, having worried about that. But that does make sense. That absolutely makes sense. In a way, it's a version of abandon hope or who enter here. And if you're in a state where you feel there's no help, that's a kind of hellish state.
If you think there's no help, there's no spirit, there's nothing that can help you.
Yeah.
Then you are, as it were, sinning against the spirit, which can always give you hope if you can trust in it.
Yes, that really makes sense. And things like pride and so on can really lock you in to that state where you can't accept other people's help. So it is a very real state. In this life, regardless of the next, I think.
Well, thank you, Mark.
Cheers for that.
I think I understand more what's going on than I did at the beginning of our conversation. I'm very grateful. Thanks.
Great. Well, thank you too. Thank you for the person who suggested it. And
yes.
Do suggest more.
Yes.
It's great.